What's up, guys? Today's going to be my first vlog of hopefully many of Beyblade tournaments that I go to every week. So let's get right into the combos. Okay, so the first combo I have here is Wizard Rod 770 Dot. Dot is my favorite bit in the game. I think 770 is going to help it take more hits and level it out better, and Wizard Rod is obviously Wizard Rod, so it's going to do well. The next combo I have is Shark Scale 150 Low Rush. This thing does not have a lot of stamina. In fact, I think it barely may even beat out a Buster Drawn, but let me tell you, this thing hits super hard, and I think it'll be really good at avoiding early games if I tilt properly, and also be able to hit the ratchet on Clock Mirage very well. Finally, we have the ace on my team, Hover Wyvern 970 Rush. This combo is insane. I think that the higher height really lends to Hover Wyvern's shape better, and overall this is just going to perform really well but also have good stamina. Alright, I'll see y'all at the event. Alright, so guys, I've made it to the venue. This is STG Cards and Collectibles in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Great place, fantastic customer service. They will do literally anything for you. It's great. Awesome building, as you can see. Tons of people in there playing card games and stuff. Not just Beyblade. We run tournaments best 2 out of 3, first to 4. Out the top is considered an overfinish, giving the opponent 2 points. And we also have a grace point for miss launches, and self KOs are 1 point and rerun the match. Getting into the first match here, my opponent, Evan, is running Kraken Blast Wheel 960 Hexa. This thing does kind of go crazy for defense and has decent stamina, and as you can see, it deflects me into the pocket. My next match here is against his Shark Scale 150 Underflat, just maximizing that lowness, and obviously it scoops straight under there and hits my ratchet after a bad launch. Our next match is another rematch between my rod and his shark, and I very quickly get a good tilt to deflect him into the pocket. Another round in this match is going to be my shark against his Kraken again, and for some reason, after many hits that almost put him out the top, the extreme zone, and something that was pretty close to the pocket, it ends up just being kind of a spin down where nothing really happens except for obviously he outspins me. Alright, our next match is my Hover Wyvern, which I unfortunately end up going super crazy and self-KOing. So after he gets the point, this match here is going to seal the deal. Him managing to get a really good deflect, straight putting me in the pocket. Him winning round 1. Okay, match 2 here is against Jacob, and let me tell you, this guy is scary. He owns so many blades, and he's constantly only bringing his heaviest copies to tournaments. This stuff is crazy. Match 1, we have Shark Scale vs. Dran Strike, and I don't know, fellas. I think Dran Strike isn't that great. Yeah, it's heavy, but its stamina is absolutely awful due to all of that inward weight distribution. And as you see here, he kind of just gets about 5 seconds worth of good hits, and he's just out of gas. Next up, we have my Wizard Rod versus his Shark, and this is where the weakness of this combo starts to really show. I definitely should have put it on something a little lower because, wow, did it just burst. Okay, now with Hover Wyvern here, I'm trying to go for a stall. I want to try to get that Hex at the center before I hit it. Very good hits, but unfortunately nothing that gets too crazy. Now, I almost hit him into the extreme and send him towards the pocket, but I don't really get anything out of it. Alright, our next match here is my Hover Wyvern against his Shark Scale after a reshuffle. Both of these blades go crazy. Nobody really had any idea what they were doing launching that match, including me, but my higher RPM and just the fact that I'm more stable than Shark Scale is going to go ahead and give me this stamina finish. Okay, this next match is going to seal the deal on the beginning of round 1 here, because he instantly deflects my Shark Scale into the pocket. Now, after a reshuffle into round 2, things go a lot differently. I get a really good deflect putting his rod in the extreme zone. And what's going to seal the deal here on round 2 is the fact that Dran Strike has no stamina, and he doesn't hit me out well enough. Alright, round 3 is a very interesting match. Both of these blades end up going absolutely crazy everywhere. And despite the fact that I'm on 150, which should theoretically give me a little less stamina, and I did go flying more, the fact that I was able to stabilize towards the end and I have higher RPM, I was able to get the stamina finish. This match is quite crazy. I'm very scared. I'm trying to protect my Ratchet as much as I can. He almost pockets me, but I pop back out of there, and I end up riding out the end after a long camp with him sitting in the center. Alright, and the match that's going to seal this in round 3, my Hover Wyvern against his Rod, and just like previously, I'm going to get a very good extreme dash here to send him straight into the extreme zone, winning me round 2. My third match here is against Hunter, and boy did I play good in this set. We start off with a self KO giving me 1 point, and in the run back, I end up getting extremed, which I end up recovering from, but man, that hurt in the moment and it really had me lock in. After this though, I end up getting a nice pocket directly off the land, getting me that kill. And it is now 3-3, and with this seal right here off of the basically self-extreme, I win round 1. Round 2 goes even better for me because after a self KO, I end up getting another nice tilt and he throws himself straight out. Not quite getting any good hits on me, and I end up getting a spin finish. Alright, this next match goes great for me. I end up going a little crazy and end up in the pocket, but boy do I get lucky. Popping out, I cause him to destabilize, and he runs himself straight into the pocket, winning me round 3. The next match here is against Millard, who is a very fundamental player. Starting out with his shark scale, I put it in the pocket, but he manages to pop out, and he can't quite get the momentum he needs back, so this match is going to give me a spin finish. Alright, our next match here is his Phoenix against my Shark, and oh my lord, when I talk about explosive matches this set, this is one of the ones I'm talking about. I almost put him in 2 of the pockets and managed to pocket him on his very little last bit of spin at the end. Hover Wyvern versus Dragoon. I was fairly confident with that tilt launch. I was really trying to get the elevate, but as you'll see, I don't quite manage to get the burst. But later in this set, I will manage to get an absolutely explosive finish on that elevate, getting it straight out of it. Alright, our next match here is his Shark versus my Wyvern. The plan here is to just try to kind of avoid, because I know for a fact I'm going to end up having more stamina than him, which you'll see works out pretty well. The stall didn't last very long, but he's not able to get a pocket on me, and I don't quite get very many good hits on him either. So as this comes down to stamina, I'm going to take it. Alright, next match here is my Rod versus his Phoenix, and while getting very good hits, I am able to stall out and tilt long enough to where he can't quite scoop under my Ratchet, and I'm going to be able to get the spin finish. Here we have a Shark Ditto. Now, when I say that this was shaking the entire table and all of the stadiums, I mean it. Unfortunately, even with my higher RPM, his combo ends up having a little more stamina, so it does put me down before him, giving him the spin finish. Now here is where I go for that Ratchet. He knocks me out, but I'm able to slide around. Ultimately, I don't get it in this match, but as you'll see later, third time is the charm. And as always, we like to see us pop out of the pocket because 1 is better than 2. Alright, after the reshuffle, we go again, and here is where I just absolutely sneak in there and pop the elevate straight out. Next up, we have another shark ditto, which ends up going about the exact same way that the first one did. We both fly around like crazy, nobody ends up getting any kind of pockets or bursts, and he ultimately outspins me. Now, when I say this final match was absolutely incredible, I mean it. He pushes me around like crazy, and after a lot of hard hits, scoops under there with 180 rush and manages to burst me. Here we get into the final round. It's 1-1. Watch this. Barely hitting me. And after a very nice launch into his side, I managed to get another extreme, giving me that set. Alright, so this is the 5th and final match of Swiss here against Johnny. Johnny is like the only guy in the scene that has the Aero Pegasus in the deck, and this thing is scary. I think it's a little overrated, but it's scary. Starting out in this match, we're going to have quite a few crazy collisions. I'm going to run around the stadium a little too much, but it will come down to spin down, and unfortunately, he's going to get it. Our next match here is a shark ditto, and I normally win these in stamina, especially after he pockets himself, and it comes down to spin down with me winning spin finish. Alright, next match here is a rod ditto, and what happens here is quite crazy. He pockets me and then immediately throws himself out the extreme, getting him 2 points. Alright, our next match here after the reshuffle is another rod ditto, and luckily this one goes a little bit more towards me. I'll speed this up. Alright, getting into another round, we have my shark versus his arrow, and even after hard collisions, he's just going to bump me at the extreme, giving him that round. The next round, though, goes a little more in my favor. Obviously, if he doesn't put me out here, Hover Wyvern's going to pretty easily outspin Shark. Okay, after another one, it's going to be my Shark versus his arrow. This doesn't really go good for me at all throughout this match, and this is no exception. Just kidding, I get the outspin. Now we have a rod ditto, and the rest of these rod dittos go a little more in my favor, but let's speed this up. The next match is also a rod ditto, and ain't nobody trying to watch more of this, so we're going to have it sped up again. Guess who gets the outspin, by the way? That's right, me. Alright, into our third and final match here, I have my rod versus his shark. He starts pushing me everywhere, and I literally go flying straight into the pocket. I get a very good camp in this match, although I don't really get the hard hits that I need, and he's going to get the outspin. Not after some fight from Wyvern, obviously, though. Alright, and here's the match that's going to seal it. His arrow versus my shark. I go a little too crazy, barely pocket myself for a second, and just overall don't get the hits I need, allowing him to spin me down and win this match. Making it 3-2, putting me in the finals. Alright fellas, I'm not gonna lie. I forgot to record the first round of the top 4, but I lost. So we will start in losers. Next match here is a run back against Evan. And this one goes a little bit better. Even though we do have a rough start, him giving me an extreme finish. I forgot to record this next match, but I won with a spin finish. Man, this was the highlight of the tournament here. Watch this. That is the most textbook extreme finish I have ever seen. Getting right back here into a Rod Ditto. He almost pockets me, but doesn't quite get it. Let's speed this up. Alright, our next match is Shark against his Blast after the reshuffle. And I end up going quite crazy. I hit him several times, but nothing that's really going to put him out, and he ends up outspinning me. This next match here is a self-KO, but after the reshoot doesn't go much better. I end up getting pocketed only after light contact. But trust me, we're going to get it back. We have a Shark Ditto here, and I end up putting him in the extreme zone, making it 3-3. And with his Blast combo and Hexa, I think we know how this goes. Let's speed this up. That will give me that match, and our next match here is against Jacob again. He starts off with a very nice burst, and now it'll be my Shark against his Dran. Dran is definitely more all or nothing than even Buster was. I say Dran, but you know. He goes out, and then we have a Rod Ditto, him being on Hexa. We should also know how this goes. Let's speed it up. It was actually closer than I thought it'd be, but obviously I got it. And now we have a Shark Ditto. It's very hard to follow, but I'm the one with the green bottom. After very hard hits, we're going to end up spinning down, and you'll see what happens. After a very close match in stamina, I outspin. Now it's his Rod against my Wyvern, and I pull a strategy here that I haven't seen a lot of other people do. I soft launched to purposefully lose in stamina, making sure that I don't accidentally self-pocket, because all I need is 1 point. Unfortunately, he burst me, and now we'll be into the next round. This is another Rod Ditto. Speed it up. That one was definitely a win for me. And now our next match is my Wyvern against his Shark. We go flying around. Not a lot of hard contact happening, just a lot of attack bits doing their thing. As it comes down to the in-game stamina though, you already know who's got this. The next match is his Drawn against my Shark. And this is a match we've seen quite a lot. I almost pocketed him and then almost put him out the top, but it wasn't quite enough. And somehow he actually does outspin me here. Alright, and our next match is my Rod against his Drawn Strike. After a reshuffle, I get a perfect launch, managing to avoid pretty much all of his proper attacks. And as it spins down, I will get the stamina finish. Okay, so what's funny here is we both end up running back the same blades, which by our rules, if you run something out of order or run it twice on accident, you lose a round in the match. But since we both did it, we kind of just let it go, and I'm going to end up winning round 2. This next match is my Shark against his Rod, and after a self-KO, this one doesn't go better, him deflecting me right into the pocket. I pop out, but it's still going to be a point to him out of stamina. Our next match, though, is going to seal it, him sending me out the top, putting me out at 3rd. That tournament was a lot of fun. I wanted to do a lot better than 3rd out of 6th, which is like right dead center middle of the road. I'm the #1 blader in SEMO, so I expected more out of myself, but we're going to come back better next week. If you made it to the end of the video, I really appreciate it. Like, subscribe, hype, do all of this stuff. Obviously, this is my only YouTube video so far that's Beyblade, but I will have more in the future, and I hope to see you all there.